Hello, it is I, Brenda. That joke is so funny to me. Hey, everybody. I'm taking over. I'm taking over the whole big extravaganza, the great big extravaganza group. This is so much fun today. But if you don't get my joke, you've never seen the show Allo Allo, which is on a British channel like BritBox or Acorn or some weirdo thing. But it just cracks me up. There's this little guy in the show, and he comes in and he always thinks he's in disguise, but he's really not. And then he'll come up and he'll go, "Hello, it is I, Leclerc." So I don't know. That is what is so funny to me. I just thought we would kind of come on and spend some time together. I'm going to be doing my usual Thursday live at 2 o'clock. So I'll be back on that, but I'm not going to broadcast it to the Great Big Extravaganza. So if you guys want to come on over to Brenda Schweder Jewelry, go ahead and do that. It's a sponsored live by another company that's not a part of the Great Big Extravaganza. So I just thought I would keep the two separate. So what I'm going to be doing over there, I didn't put the picture in here, did I? Nope. Anyway, I'm going to be doing this fun little fidget, it's not so little, this little fidget link, and I call this, what do I call it? Oh, it's so much in my mind today. Swivel link? Golly gee. Anyway, it's this really cool thing. It's basically making a keychain. Can you see how this one's kind of like curved right here? Yeah, I'll put it in front of my thing. This one's curved right here, or slanted, just like a keychain ring would be. This isn't quite, this is sort of a faux keychain because you're probably not going to be using aluminum for your keychain. It's, that's something that you need a lot of utility for, and you need it to hold up to a lot of, banging and clashing and being at the bottom of your purse. But and then this one is just the right size barbell link. Here's another one where I just want, like, wouldn't this be cool, like in all the aluminum colors, just, so I think that's what we're going to work on at 2 o'clock Pacific, and just kind of, I don't know, just having some fun. But before I get too far, I want to say hi to one person who's watching. Hi, Donna Chandler. I thought it would be a little bit quiet day. And I don't know why I didn't put, I just figured this should be an exclusive bit of content here, and just hanging out with whoever wants to be here and whoever might be watching in the repost. Hey, if you don't know me, I'm Brenda Schweder, and I am one of the 17 original participants, presenters from the Great Beat Extravaganza. So humbled and proud to be a part of that group. This was the brainchild of Andrew Thornton and Sarah Ayler of Softflex. Andrew is with Allegory Gallery, of course, and this came out of COVID, and I think it's one of the best things to have happened since sliced bread after COVID. I don't know what I just said. Anyway, hello, Donna. Nice to see you. Everyone else who might not be, might be too shy. Here's Coral. Oh, great. And Facebook user, I would love to see that this is you, whoever just said that. If you could go to StreamYard, and there's like a little link right in the description, and sign up, and then I can see who my lovely friend is that is saying hello. And then once you're signed up forever. Here's Coral saying, loved your videos of the Arizona plants. And so what happened is this morning I thought, I don't know, like I always thought it was kind of interesting, the vegetation. It almost seems like it shouldn't be called vegetation because that just seems so lush, and that's not what our terrain is like around here. But so Jim and I kind of went and I just broke it up into 4 different videos with what was around our house. And because everything is we've had some drought here, we have just had a proliferation of all these blooms, and this is one of our cactus. I think this is the one out by the road that's by our mailbox. And generally we kind of said this on our on our little videos. And they're just like 2 to 4 minutes long if you kind of want to dig in and just see us walking around the front yard. We just usually have like 2 to 3 little blooms. I also posted a still of that, and look at how many there are this year. They think they need to like regenerate, and they're just like putting out their last hurrah if they think that's their last hurrah. And hopefully it won't be. Hopefully we'll get some rain. Right. So anyway, so before I get too far, you guys, I'm gonna just say let's do a giveaway here. I threatened a giveaway last night in my little intro piece, and so let's give away this fun little this little piece that I did. Oh gosh, some months ago, but I think it's fun, and it's all about netting, and the necklace is actually an old tape measure. And so I think it's just some sort of like a little ball from some child's game or something like that. But why don't you put your name or a guess between 1 and 100? I always kind of like to do that in the comments, and any guess, and I'll try to watch out for duplicates as they come in, and whoever wins by the end of the day. So that'll be 11:59 Pacific time. So if it's further along in your day, you will see, you'll have more time. But I thought it was kind of cute, and it's just kind of fun, just a little bit of a giveaway here. And I don't know, maybe you like it, maybe it's not your thing, but I would love you to have it if you would like it. So okay, so that's that. I also want to announce we are coming up on another great bead extravaganza, Midsummer Market. You guys, we are so excited about this, and I've got my pieces ready that I want to do. I'm doing a whole Calder-esque thing, but as you guys know, or if you don't, what we do is okay, so let's back up here. So the Midsummer Market is going to be an online presentation by all 17 of us Great Bead Extravaganza presenters. It's going to be Friday, June 11th through Sunday, June 13th. This is sort of a nod to all those summer trade shows that used to be. And so we're sort of like, hey guys, let's come online and we'll share some of that fun. As usual, I take the last spot on Sunday, so my session will be Sunday the 13th, and that'll be from 4:45 to 5:45 Pacific, or 7:45 to 8:45 Eastern. And then you can do the time zone math from there if you're not in one of those time zones. Time zone math is not one of my fortes. Neither is getting up early, which is why my takeover started probably about noon if you're in Eastern time. But, I mean, I think you guys understand. So anyway, I thought we would hang out for a little bit. I also want to show you what I'm going to be doing. If you remember, it's way over there. There it is. I wrote a little book in my third book in 2011 called Steel Wire Jewelry. And Steel Wire Jewelry, I just loved it. It was published then by Lark Beading and Jewelry, which I'm very, very proud to have been published by that company. Probably about 2 years later, the company went under. I think it was an imprint of another. I'm forgetting all this stuff because it was a while ago. Anyway, Steel Wire Jewelry is a book that is now 10 years old. Oh my God. So if you're looking for it, you can probably find it used. It's been remaindered, which just means it's been taken off the market. But I'm pretty proud of that one. And so I did probably a handful, maybe about 20 projects I did. 4 to 6 on Calder-esque type things. I love Calder. I went from Wisconsin to San Diego to see the Calder show, if you guys remember way back when. Oh, thank you. I got two. I got 2 tries here. Thank you, Donna and Carl. Anyway, so it's really exciting. I still love it, and no matter where I go with my jewelry, I'm always sort of coming back to the Calder things, the Calder way. If you're not familiar with Calder, he did about 180 pieces of jewelry in his lifetime. Mostly, you probably know him by sculptures, by circus pieces, mobiles, that type of thing. But he was pretty prolific with his jewelry, and it's gorgeous. So there's a whole book out there by the Calder Foundation about Calder jewelry, and it's just fun. It's just fun. It was like I think in the 30s, 40s kind of era, where studio metalsmithing was just kind of coming into being. I think he was one of the forefathers of that. And so, yeah, I just love it. So I thought, as a nod to the 10-year anniversary, and I'm getting back into found object fun right now, that this is one of the pieces that we'll be looking at how to do it. You can see that it's not steel wire, but Calder also worked in a lot of brass with huge hammers, and he did a lot of sort of spirals. So this is my sort of square spiral that I call spiral wire piece. And this could also be a brooch. I'll probably show how to do that, but this will be the tutorial that I'll do. And the found object piece is, as you can see, that like he would just sort of like strap on these pieces of found mementos or whatever. And your found memento would be different than mine. This one, as you know, if you know me at all, I have a lot of different found things that I work with. That's a little bit different than what's strapped onto here, but this was a piece that Jim and I picked out just, on the path when we were in Athens on vacation. Oh my gosh, probably about 8 years ago too, because I think we didn't go until after steel wire jewelry. Anyway, but that is a piece of tile, and I didn't clean it up at all. I just left it dirty, grungy, sort of patinaed by the earth, as I just thought that was a little bit more fitting. And so that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on that. Of course, now that's a hammer. My hammers that I co-branded with Bill Fretz of Fretz Design will be used to make those. And by the way, Kate Richford is going to be using my hammers that she has in her tutorial for that thing too. So I'm double dipping. So thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I'm going to go down to this little view here, so you can see the piece kind of IRL in real life, but you can kind of also see what's going on here is that this piece I've sort of flipped back so that I can make this into a brooch. It'll actually have a pin, and we'll do that probably live on there, but also it's just strapped on, and I'll show you how you can go about flattening that wire. We're working with 2 different gauges. I'm actually considering doing a kit-ish for some, for these things. If you're interested, I'll probably load those up. Oh gosh, I probably won't do it this week, but probably early next week if you think you guys might be interested. And then this is another little piece similar to it with not so found objects, but these are some African, well, I guess they're not African, these are actually Chinese. And this is probably what the kit will be of these fun little beads here. So you can see there's quite a bit of difference, a steel wire and brass wire here. This one's just so far a pendant, as is this one. But there are ways to sort of broochize, pinize these things. And so, yeah, so we'll probably do some of that. And so I just kind of wanted to mention that so you guys knew it was coming up. We're trying to get you guys excited for this one, thus the whole takeover. I'm so happy to, as I said, to be a part of this group. It's the whole group that is really the fun part of everyone getting together and having we're so rich in talent just with everyone that's done everything. We've got, of course, bead stores. We've got, galleries, Allegory Gallery. We've got people that are going online. People have products. People who don't. Kate Richburg's has her online store. So just lots and lots of stuff. Let me see here if I missed any comments. So, okay. Oh, Donna says, love the pendant and would love a kit. All right. So that's what keeps me going, you guys. I'm not a real kit person, but I want to give you guys what you might want. So I think if you want a kit, who am I to keep you from a kit, right? Excuse me. So, and then during that presentation, I've got a whole tray of just different things that might be mementos. Obviously, these projects sort of lend themselves to flatter things, but not necessarily. I mean, you could be a little goofy like me and really get going on what you find that's found. So anyway, so I thought what we would do is just sort of chat a little bit. As I said, I'll be back. And I did do a live on Instagram last week that I saved to IGTV. If you guys aren't familiar, let me see if I have the banners here. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, please do follow me on Instagram. My handle is hashtag at Brenda Schroeder Jewelry. I'm just having a ball in there. I'm doing reels. I'm doing stories. I'm just kind of sharing, hopefully not oversharing. So please do go ahead and see what's going on there. Okay. So back to this kind of thing. So what I was getting at here is that, let me get back to you guys. Coral says she's thinking she might need a kit too. I love it. Anyway, so as I peel myself up, are you guys in that stage where it's like summer and because you're not wearing like pants, you're sticking to all your chairs? That's me right now. But in case you missed that one, and even if you don't, this is the latest piece that I've done, and this little guy here is the escapee from the clothesline. And I decided, I had a niggle about this as I was doing it, but I just really couldn't not do this. Let's go to the down area here. Whoops, sorry about that. Kind of get this out of the way. We'll go to our top down. Actually, let's do this. I think we can do this and move this over here. I love this. Thank you, StreamYard. Anyway, so we have this guy here, right? He's been in here. But what I wasn't liking was, this was my original sort of connection right here. And you can see that I did a steel wire, and then with each one here, we'll just move it up to here. It actually goes through the clothespin, just like it's drilled out. But then I kind of like the fact that the clothespin could be the opening, clasp at any point. But what I didn't like, I discovered, was that this had to go from either side of the clothespin, and it was just bothering me that everything was sort of like not laying right. How when someone's going to be wearing that, you can design something and then putting it on the body, making it flow and go with the body as a whole different thing. So I came up with this one here, and you can kind of see that this is my solution to having it be more centered to itself, so that each link, which is each clothespin, will be centered to the next link up. This being sort of the pendant part, the Y part that comes down. So I had to do this one a little bit differently. This one will stay the same because it's kind of clothespin to clothespin. The rest of it is just like teeth of the clothespin to end of the clothespin. So all these will come around differently, but they'll look more like this one here, and kind of going up and around. And it's just one of those things where I could have been done with this piece with about, gosh, another 2 hours of work, it could have been done and I could have been in bed. It just wasn't sitting well with me. And you might have those feelings too sometimes when you're like, this is going to go out into the world. And if I were next to this person wearing this, I would be constantly fidgeting and fixing this presentation on the body because, right, as you wearing these, this is your canvas. And it's just, it wouldn't have been okay. Just saying. So, so yeah, you can probably see over here what I've got is I've kind of like, let me see if we can get this. I'm always a little bit intrepid about bringing this over here. But this setup right here is what I was doing with these. And I thought maybe I had started this one, and maybe we could just do a little bit together if you wouldn't be too bored by it. Who knows? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I think is cool, but you're going to be just like, yeah, no, I'm tapping out, which is fine too. I love you all. But since I'm taking over, I'm taking over. Right? So I guess the next thing that I would do, let's bring this up, or kind of do this, is just look at this piece. I still need a square like this, but on this end I'm going to need another piece that's really more like this. So square on one end and sort of this sort of like boxy hanger shape. So this would be like from the dry cleaner, like one of those blanket hangers, right? The really hefty ones. But a box on this side here. And I started this one out kind of looking around to see if I have all the tools I need. Probably not, because I don't have any cutters for steel here, but we'll just kind of like talk this through a little bit. This was my setup for these little guys here. And let's just take one off so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm just going to kind of like open this up here and take it up just like it's a jump ring, just like it's a, plain loop. But instead of this loop size, this nice big loop, I'm going to change that into, and I'll just turn it back so you guys can see, change that orientation back. Kind of what we're going for is that sort of hanger. But I don't need a hanger that's as big as this right here, the white. I'm going to need a hanger that is shorter, not as wide, because these other clothespins aren't as big as the white ones. I do have another white one here, but we'll see. So I kind of just started going around here like this, and what we'll have to do is just sort of like fashion one, and I might bring it back to the jig and just see if I can. Coral, you're so sweet. Thank you. Carl says never. You're too sweet. You are too sweet. Oh, I didn't. This is where you actually get the jig to adhere to or anchor it on here. And there's other things that I was doing here, but basically this is my setup here that I am enjoying for this. That's working for this. So what I do is it basically just like make sure that is just really as when I go around a nice crisp edge like this, and something more geometric, I make sure that I have it brought around with some gusto. You see my little legs here, and can go back up here like this. I don't know, it's like a little embarrassing. Anyway, that's okay. They're just legs, right? So we're just going to try to keep that nice and crisp. And you can kind of see here, there is still a little bit curvy, but it's not like what I call the Wonder Bread. The tops of the bread sort of like going around there. I like corners to be a little bit more crisp. So that's really, the part that I had gone around here. And I know that I'm going to kind of come up here, and I'm going to come off of this end here to have that little bit of a span here before I actually go into making that that hanger shape. And I'm thinking to myself, why did I do this online? Because sometimes I need my quiet space to be able to work and solve problems. But who knows? Who knows if it doesn't work? You know, you guys kind of know that you're behind the scenes, right? So I'm just kind of going here where I think I'm going, just going a little bit to the left of where I think I'm going to come down straight to make that lollipop on top. This would be more of a square on top. And it needs to be kind of where you think it's going to come down. Make sure that you're a little bit, because you have to sort of like remember that it's not like a right angle, that the wire, especially if it's a larger gauge wire, like this is 18, that it's going to need some time to sort of make that bend. Okay, so I'm just going to get in here, and I'm just going to make that bend here. And that is pretty good. That is pretty darn centered there. And I was almost thinking, it looks like it might be too far over to one side, but it's not too bad. So all I'm doing here is I'm just going to kind of measure this. And I think, yeah, that this was about, the widest part of my chain nose here. Sometimes you don't have to, go to great lengths to measure something. Just measure something with what you've got nearby. And so here I'm just going to do that. And you notice that whenever I'm making these bends, I'm doing it with my powerhouse thumb, just really sort of getting in there. And here's where I'm starting to think, okay, so how wide does it need to be? If you work with any kind of wire, really a fine, I'm looking for mine, is it in here? A fine, very fine tip Sharpie will work, even on steel. But on steel, sometimes I like to use like a white chalk pencil you can get at Joann's in the seamstress area, or just a white colored pencil will work too. So I'm going to do, so basically I'm sort of making this prototype, right? And because I know I'm going to need probably about 5 of these to go around. So I'm just kind of like eyeing this up, and I'm going to put my thumb right about there and mark it with my chain nose pliers, and I'm just going to make another kind of a bend here. And then I'm kind of looking like, where do I want this to go through? Let's see if we can just get that one in there. And I'm just doing this as I think I can. And that might be a little bit more, that span might be a little bit less than this. But yeah. Okay, so now here's the thing, right? If I continue to make all of this, I could probably still do this. I did, so when I did this one, I put it all on there, and then I formed the last 2, the curves here. But what I forgot is that a clothespin can be smaller. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can't make this one and then put it on with the clothespin actually opened. And so hopefully that'll work, because it would be a lot easier to make each of these without having to worry about the clothespin, finishing it up with the clothespin already on it. So I hope this makes sense to you. What I do is that all of these, every project I make is just this whole sort of narrative thing that just changes, and everything, every piece is so different that I kind of like it that way. Okay, so I'm kind of going back to this, and I'm looking at this. So this is going to go through here. I'm going to mark it about there. I don't want the clothespin to be too, too, I guess. Okay, that's a little bit much. Yeah, somehow. So here's too. What am I trying to say? Too cramped in there. Okay. So I can actually just put it in here too and mark it this way. We'll just go for another like 10 minutes, guys, because I'll be back, as I said, with my other Thursday tutorial. And I'm just going to kind of mark this here. marking it, but it's through there. So this is just being silly. So this is what goes through my head a lot, is all this sort of silliness. As I'm doing all this, I'm trying to think about 10 more steps ahead. So let's see if that one worked, and I have to kind of bring this back through here. And this is what I'm talking about, that will this go around the corner? Yes, it will. Look at that. And I also want to make sure that I'm saying that there's enough room in here, because if it's squozen, it might be keeping this open enough. And look at that one, because of the way that I have this in here, it is a little bit too open, and this one fell right out. So I know that I haven't left enough room in here. Now you might be wondering, like, oh my God, she already made that bend. This is wire work. What's going on? Steel is really pretty forgiving, and I'm the type of person, I don't like doing things over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unbend this, okay? And I'm going to just give it a little bit more room and move that out, and I'm going to rebend it. And you can see where that little bit was in there, but I can just kind of take this and nudge, 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 and then I'm, kind of like bending this back to, and no one will ever know. So let's see here, this is going to work. Okay, again, we're going to go into here, and this is what I want. I want a little bit of play, right? Because I know then that it's not too tight, that it's going to be opening this clothespin. Now, will I ever use this tip again? Probably there's a 1 in a million chance that I will. I mean, I'm just like, maybe, like, clothespins are my thing. I am the clothespin jeweler. Probably not, though. It's just not my thing, but someone else might. And so if you're the clothespin jeweler, if you're the new clothespin jeweler, this tip is for you. You learned it here on Brenda Schrader Jewelry. So anyway, what I can do now is I can say, let's go back to here and say, okay, so what was my spacing here? It's pretty much that same width. Okay, so now I'm going to go to here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off of here, go around that corner. I love it. And then I'm going to come here, and I'm actually going to go to the fullest part of my chain nose pliers. And again, I'm going to use that powerhouse thumb, and I'm going to come back up here. Now, what I don't like about this is I really want this to be centered on the top of this. So right now, can you see it's not how I want it, but I'm pretty close, right? And I'm thinking that, once I get it, then I really don't need to worry so much with each one. But if I were more of a good enough person, a lot of times I'm a pretty much of a good enough person, I would just use this one. But remember, the whole reason I'm doing these is so that everything is centered off of everything else. But for the purposes of this little ditty here, I'm just going to kind of keep this on here, and I'm going to try to make another one where I basically kind of make up the difference here. So maybe I just need to come over a little bit further like this. On this one, let's see. Yeah, that was about that same measurement. I need to come over even further before I start going up and around. But basically, this is going to work pretty darn good, right? So here I've got this. Let's just sort of like, let's just give it the old college try. We're going to just open it and close it like a jump ring. So we're going to just kind of open that up there. And I just kind of like this kind of cold connection, kind of come around here. There's a little bit of twisting and turning that goes around, but this can always be moved. This is probably what should go on last anyway, after you get this in here. So again, I'm liking that. I'm going to close that up eventually, but I'm just kind of testing this out and seeing. I'm really pretty much liking that just as it is. Now, I know that I'm going to have to change that orientation back, because as it's flat, I want all the clothespins to be showing, like, you know, so it's working against itself. I want them all to be showing with a whole sort of like, this is a clothespin, instead of like, what is that? And then getting up to it and seeing it's a clothespin. Anyway, so I'm going to change that orientation of these as I get going along. And so, yeah, this will work well. So once I finish all those loops, which, you know, now I'm almost there, right? I'm just going to kind of take these and make these, clean them up. If you haven't worked with steel wire, you know that I need to basically sort of just take off with a little steel wool some of that patina, that the black patina that's comes from annealing it in kilns, so that you make it workable. And then I'm going to seal it with some Renaissance wax. But the only thing that's left to do is our dude here. He has a mask with a mask on it, and that needs to be finished off, and then actually just sort of like sewn it in. I have just a little bit of a drill mark there. Can you see that little thing? I put a drill through there so that I can basically sew it on, so it looks like he's coming down and he's holding his mask, but he's just sort of like ripped it off, and he's holding it, and he's holding on to the clothesline thing. Anyway, I'm having a ball. This piece looks pretty darn simple, but you know the problem with that, right? Yeah. So, but it's fun, and I learned something with all of these pieces and all of these narrative pieces, and they just make me giggle. So I hope they make you giggle too. Yeah. So that's really about it, guys. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with you guys today and just say hey, and just say hello. If you're just getting on now, put a number in between 1 and what am I doing here? 1 and 100 to win this fun. Let me see if I can get back to this guy. This fun piece. We'll give this away to someone by the end of the day. And do remember, guys, that I'm going to be going live. My session's the last session on the 13th of June. It's creeping up, guys. But before that, you'll see everybody else. I'm just the second in the whole takeover thing because we're going alphabetically. So it was Andrew, Brenda. So I'm like, woohoo! I go from being last on Sunday to being second. That's pretty funny. And then this is the schedule. So you can see all of these people. I think, is this the one that is was updated? I think so. There was a few updates that were made, and there might be another update or so. But basically, we've got Andrew starting, and we're going to Candy Cooper, Kate, Jill, Sarah, Neelay, Tori, and Kelly on Saturday. Then Sunday, Abby, Heather, Cynthia. Hopefully we'll get a little of Azalea with her, and Kate and Tracy, Jamie, Christy, and then again me. So you can, down at the end we have our Hawaii contingent, Jamie and Christy, and then I still take up the end. That's just what I do. That's my spot. So thanks for kind of hanging out with me as we did a little bit of chatting today, and we'll catch you on the flip flop later on tonight. Maybe I'll come on a little bit and just say, hey, thanks for being on this takeover with me, and introduce the next person. We'll be taking over tomorrow. Guess what? ABC. I think I'm the only B. I wonder who that could be. All right. Mwah. Thanks so much, you guys. If you care to come and see me, I'm going to be doing this live on this fun little link. It's like a swivel link. Just forgetting the name of it. Just there it went. I'm going to have to remember that by 2 o'clock. So in another 40 minutes, pop over to Brenda Schwader Jewelry, and we'll learn how to make this one. Do a couple bunch of links. Hopefully, we'll see how many we can get done. Maybe we can get a whole necklace done. That'll be fun. Love you guys. Thanks for popping on in, and see you on the flip flop. Adios.